Today, I want to talk to you about middle class money traps, how to escape the middle class forever. If you are sick and tired of feeling like you're on a hamster wheel, in a rat race, running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail, if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're tired of having more month left at the end of the money than money at the end of the month, but you still make a decent income, but you're frustrated, like, why can't I get ahead? This video is for you. So what are the middle class money traps? I'm gonna talk about 5 middle class money traps that keep people stuck in middle class forever. The first one is the dissipation trap. The dissipation trap is they waste most of their lives waiting for, wishing for, hoping for, and wanting their life to get better without doing the things that will actually make it better. And I believe that the dissipation trap of time dissipation is based on a belief of a false narrative that time is money. This is such a destructive myth. Time is money. Time is money. Oh, you gotta hurry up. Time is money. Time is money. Time is money. How many of you have heard somebody say that? I've heard people say that. How many of you said it? I've said it. But you know what? Time's not money. If you run out of time, you don't get more time. But if you run out of money, you get more money. You can always get more money. I've run out of money many times in my life. But I've always gotten more money after I ran out of money. But if you run out of time, you don't get more time. So time is not money. In fact, if I said to you, I'm going to give you $1 million, I'm going to write you a check today for $1 million. It will clear. I promise you. It'll clear. You don't have to worry about that. I'm write you a check today for $1 million. Who wants that money? Anybody in here want that money? Right. Exactly. We have people in the audience and they said, oh yeah, I want that money. Now, there's only one stipulation. Well, what's that stipulation? You have to end your life today. Is there anybody who still wants that money? No, nobody wants it. Oh, do you know why you don't want it? Because you already realize intuitively that time is not money, that time is infinitely more valuable than money. Now, watch this. Let's say you have $1 million, but you're also going to die of some dreaded disease. And there's a cure, and insurance doesn't pay for it, and it works every time, and it's $1 million. How many of you would pay your last $1 million for that cure? Right. Why? Because you realize time is more valuable than money. So if we're going to do that on a large scale, doesn't it make sense if we want to escape the middle class? One of the things we have to do is we have to start doing that on a smaller scale. We have to start using our money to buy back time. Well, Myron, how do you, and by the way, this is a biblical principle. If, Ephesians 5:16 says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So redeem right there means to buy back, to rescue from loss, to improve opportunity, to buy back, rescue from loss, and improve our opportunity. So when I buy back my time, I'm rescuing it from being lost, and I'm using that time to improve my opportunity. So what I'm doing is I'm moving away from the dissipation trap, and what I'm doing is I'm taking now my discretionary time, and I'm investing that discretionary time into something that can make my future brighter. Oh, like how do I do that? So when I was poor and when I was middle class, like I worked on everything myself. In fact, I intentionally bought stuff that needed to be fixed because I could get it for a cheaper price. Because I valued, when I was poor, I valued money more than I valued time. When I was middle class, I valued credit more than I valued time. And so middle class, but like poor people, they're number one, they're like the highest value. If you're poor, a poor person, one of a poor person's highest values is money. Poor people value money. It's like the highest thing on their like scale of things. Money. Middle class people value credit. I'm not pressing that hard. Credit. So middle class people value credit. What do rich people value? We value time. Like rich people value time. Everything for us is about time and the time value of money and the money value of time. And so rich people value time. And so what we do is we will do anything to save time. That's why rich people hire people to do what? Buy back our time. That's why I pay somebody to clean my house. That's why I pay somebody to cut my grass. That's why I pay somebody to fix my car. The more people who want to do a specific service that I can hire and pay to do that service for me so I don't have to do it, the more time I get back in my life. Now, we have a cleaning lady. Our cleaning lady comes to our house 3 times a week. She comes on Monday, she comes on Wednesday, she comes on Friday. She does all the laundry, all the ironing, right? And she cleans the house, does all the vacuuming, does all that stuff. And my wife is very clean. She would rather do it herself, kind of. But I would rather her not do it so we can hang out together, right? And but in between, we just kind of keep the house tidy. But the cleaning lady comes in. I don't wash clothes. My wife doesn't have to wash clothes. We don't have to think about that. And we just pay somebody to do it. And now we don't have to think about it. We got all that time now that we can spend with each other. We're going to be moving in a couple of months. We move into our new house. We're going to hire a chef. And now we don't have to cook and we don't have to go to a restaurant. It's going to save us even more time, right? When I get ready to go somewhere, I fly on private jets. It costs more money, but it saves me so much time. I don't have to get to the airport 2 hours early. I get to the airport 2 minutes late. And they can't leave without me, right? So I don't have to get to the airport early. I don't have to get in long lines. There are no lines. I don't have to unload my luggage and take it to the check-in counter, the pilot, the co-pilot, and the ground crew, unload my car and put all my stuff on the plane. I don't have to do any of that. I'm not doing that because I'm bougie. I'm doing that because it saves me time. It saves me, how much time does it save you? A ton of time. It would cost me more based on my hourly rate. It would cost me more to fly commercial than it does to fly private. What does that mean? Well, when I talk about saving time, if I'm going to fly, next week after next, I'm going to fly from here to Dallas, from Tampa to Dallas. I could probably find a commercial flight for $600, $700, right? Round trip. Cool. And rent a car. Okay. Well, blah, blah, blah. We won't even talk about the rental car, just a trip. Well, to fly from here to Texas is going to be 3 hours. So it's $11,000 an hour there. So what is that? $33,000, $11,000 an hour back. That's $66,000. Oh, that's crazy. Why would you waste that money? Because my hourly rate's $40,000 an hour. If I get to the airport 2 hours early, I've wasted $80,000 on the way out and $80,000 on the way back. That's $160,000 I've flushed down the time toilet, and I can't ever get it back. Whereas when I get ready to go, I get there like literally 15 minutes before it's time for my flight to take off, pull up to the plane, they unload my stuff and get on the plane. Now, why do I do that? I do that because when I am using that time, I can't get that time back. So if you understand that poor people think the primary purpose of money is to pay bills. Middle class people think the primary purpose of money is to establish good credit so they can buy things they don't want, don't need, can't afford, so they can impress people that they don't know, maybe don't like, maybe will never meet. And so, but rich people, we have some very strange habits. Like we seem to be very, very tight. Rich people seem to be, like I used to wonder, like I had some rich friends when I was broke, and I used to wonder, like, why are they so cheap and always counting every penny? I used to wonder. I want to do a whole video on that. Like, why are rich people so cheap? Because they understand the time value of money, and they also understand that when you're rich, every time somebody asks you for money, money is not going to solve their money problem. Okay, cool. You got it. So the dissipation trap. The next one is the distract. So we have the dissipation trap first. I think it's two S's. Dissipation trap. Yeah, I know. I'm just a little nervous about writing letters up here. They keep disappearing. Okay, dissipation trap. The second one is the distraction trap. This one's crazy how many people this destroys. Distraction. Distraction trap. The distraction trap. What is the distraction trap? This is hobbies. Middle class people love hobbies. They're in the bowling league. They're in the golf league. They're in the league. They're in the pickleball league. And they use not only are they wasting discretionary time just by wasting discretionary time watching stuff on Netflix or on Prime, Amazon Prime or whatever, they're also wasting their discretionary time with their hobbies. There's nothing wrong with hobbies. I like hobbies. I have a hobby. It's called golf. I love to play golf. But as much as I love to play golf, I hate golf leagues. I hate playing golf with a bunch of bad golfers and making it take longer than it needs to take, and flushing a lot of time down the time toilet. I don't like it. And so distractions are watching sports, playing games, playing sports, involved in leagues. There's nothing wrong with any of those stuff. But see, I believe let me ask you a question. I won't even tell you what I believe. Let me ask you a question. What if the middle class was created by a bunch of wealthy elite people who believed in a zero-sum game to distract middle class people from their objective of actually creating wealth? What if? What if they said, you know what? We like being better than poor people. That's how some people think, but they aren't better than poor people. But we like being better than poor people, but we don't want everybody to be where we are. So what do? Oh, why don't we create this thing called the middle class? I'm not saying this is what happened, but it seems feasible. What if we create this thing called the middle class and make people think they've arrived when they make enough money so they can maintain good credit, work in our businesses, in our factories, and then go buy our products and we can keep them in debt for the rest of their lives? What if? What if the system was designed? I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day. People say the system is broken. The system is broken. The system ain't broken. The system is doing exactly what the system was designed to do. Keep you stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. That's what it was designed to do. And make you think you're okay, all at the same time. What if, there's nothing wrong with being middle class. Like, if you've maxed out your potential. Like, there's nothing wrong with being broke if you've maxed out your potential. But there's something wrong with, I heard a preacher say a long time ago, it's not a sin for a bird to land on your head. It's a sin if he builds a nest up there. Why? He doesn't have any business being there that long, right? Some things are okay as, that's where you are, as long as you don't, camp out. And so what if middle class is just a distraction that was created? And then we have the next trap. This is a big one. The debt trap. Now, here's what's fascinating. Poor people don't use debt because they can't. Because a lot of them, they don't pay their bills on time, so they have bad credit. Middle class people have good credit. They can borrow money. But unfortunately, they borrow money to buy liabilities instead of borrowing money to buy assets. I like borrowing money. I'm going to borrow so much money this year, it's going to be crazy. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars I will borrow this year. You say, why are you going to borrow hundreds of millions of dollars? Well, I'm going to tell you like a billionaire friend of mine told me. He said, if you owe the bank $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, the bank owns you. But if you owe the bank $100 million, you own the bank. Right? It's a totally different game then, right? And so rich people use debt to create wealth. Poor people, middle class people rather, use debt to impress people and make them think they're richer than they are when who cares, right? So don't borrow money to buy liabilities. Borrow money to buy assets. Assets like what? Assets like property, like real property. Man, yeah. It's so fascinating. I borrowed, I bought a house for like $2.5 million last year, right? And I borrowed 1.8 million of that. Well, just because I borrowed that $1.8 million, I got back as a tax refund all the money that I paid in taxes last year, just because I bought that one house at the end of the year. I got it all back, all of it. Okay, so use debt to create wealth, and then this is one of my least favorites. This to me, this is religion for people. It doesn't even make any sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. The delay trap. What's the delay trap? You know what I'm going to write, right? Retirement. I'm going to work really, really hard while I'm young and strong and have a lot of energy in my body so that when I'm old and tired and can't move, I can retire and have enough money to do all the stuff I always wanted to do. What if what if the whole concept of retirement is part of the trap? That's the bait of the trap. Retire. You know why you want to retire? Because somebody talked you into building a life that you don't like. And so one day, I'm going to get out of this. Why don't you let one day be today, or at least start today? People say, well, Myron, when are you going to retire? Retire from what? Retire and do what? You know what I noticed? Too many people who retire shortly after that, they expire. And I have no desire to expire. Therefore, I have no desire to retire. Now, I have a retirement fund. Why? Because it saves me money on taxes. I don't have a retirement fund because I want to retire. I'm young. I'll be 64 tomorrow. I got stuff to do. What did God tell Joshua in Joshua chapter 21? I think it was Joshua chapter 16. He said, you are old and well stricken in years, and there's still much more land to be conquered. That didn't sound like a retirement plan to me. That sounded like a refiring plan to me. I don't need retirement. I need refirement. So the delay trap. I'm going to live my life later when I have more time, when I have enough time to have more, and I have more money. So what if instead your objective was, so this is how I do it. I believe that if you live your life according to the seasons of life, you can enjoy your life a lot more. You could take every day, and I'm going to give you a framework that you can take and you can boil down every day into this framework. Every day you can boil down into this framework. Every week you can boil down into this framework. You can overlay this framework on every month, overlay this framework on every year, overlay this framework on every decade, and overlay this framework on your entire life. And I promise you will have more joy than one day I'm going to retire. Okay, what is it? If you're an entrepreneur, or if you ever decide to become one, which I would highly recommend, what will happen is once you start working on your business and in your business, you're going to have so much focus and so much intentionality and so much intensity. People are going to say, you're so out of balance. All you ever do is work. All you think about is money. You're so out of balance, right? How many of y'all have heard that? Entrepreneurs in the room, right? Right. And they're saying that as if thou shalt be balanced. It was the 11th commandment, right? But there's no place in the scripture where it says thou shalt be balanced. What is that? But balance is a season and focus is a season. It's never winter and summer in the same place at the same time. And there's never going to be focus and balance in the same person at the same time. When you're in focus, you're out of balance. When you're in balance, you're out of focus. When I first got started as an entrepreneur, my seasons of focus were this big, and my seasons of balance were this big. It was like focus, balance, balance. But as I kept doing big long seasons of focus and little bitty seasons of balance, eventually they got closer together. Season of focus, balance, 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 focus, balance. To me, that's way cooler than retirement, because now I don't have to wait till someday. I don't have to fall into the delay trap. I can have seasons of focus today and seasons of balance today. I can have seasons of focus this week and seasons of balance this week. I can have seasons of focus this month and seasons of balance this month. I can have seasons of focus this year, seasons of balance this year. I can have seasons of focus this decade and seasons of balance this decade. I get the best of all worlds while I can enjoy it, instead of some future time that I might not even make it to. At least I'm already here today. And if I practice this principle, starting on the micro level of the daily, you can even boil it down to the hourly if you want to. But if I start applying this principle now, and then I've developed the habit of getting used to living like this, man, I'll look in the mirror one day and I'm like, oh man, my seasons of focus are this big, but my seasons of balance are this big. Okay, the last trap that we're going to discuss is The delusion trap. And that's the one you're going to be tempted with right now. Delusion trap. You say, what's the delusion trap? Thinking that everything is going to be okay because somebody else is going to come along and fix it. You are delusional. Or as Jim Rohn said, what if they don't show up? What if nobody shows up to save you? Like you're living a life of well, it's going to work itself out. It's going to work itself out. No, that's not how the law of entropy works. It does not work itself out. It wears itself out. Anything left to itself tends to move more and more towards disorder. So if you think that by you not intentionally deciding to do something and then working towards that, it's going to work itself out, you are delusional. Don't be delusional. Let's escape the middle class traps, middle class money traps that keep people stuck for years and decades of their life. And let's go live a life on purpose, with purpose, for our purpose. Hope this video blesses you. Stay blessed by the best, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now. This video is for all of you business owners out there who make payments, accept payments, process payments, and the rest of it. We are going to show you how you've had such a ginormous hole in your money bucket of your business that it's going to absolutely blow your mind. I have with me two gentlemen today that represent a company called Payments, and it's Payments with an X, as you can see, but they represent a company called Payments, and their payment processing and payment facilitation ability to save you a fortune in fees as a business owner is at a level that I've not seen in the industry. And I've been receiving credit cards and making payroll since 1997. So I have with me Clay Weger and Bobby Poole. Glad to have you gentlemen with me.
Thank you, Myron. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So I told everybody kind of what you do, but before we talk about like your payment processing, let's talk about why it's important to both of you. What is the business that you have that you accept credit cards with and you got tired of paying a fortune in fees? I looked at my online sales for last month, just online sales for last month. And the credit card fees just for online processing were $4,400, right? That I could have saved. That could have been money in my pocket. That could have been money to hire a new employee. That could have been money to pay my mortgage down on our office space. We could have used $4,000 and $4,000 a month. Now we're talking about like $45,000 a year. That's a significant amount of money. So what was it that caused you to get started even thinking about this business? Because I think you guys have a different business that caused you to pay attention to this. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's correct, Myron. We have a business called Jelly Ball, and it's a backyard party rental business. It's in the entertainment space. We do business with resorts and all types of other entities. We operate in about 30 different verticals, and that business takes nothing but credit cards. We do not accept cash or any other form of payment. We do wire transfers from time to time or ACH, but like 99% of our transactions come through
credit
cards. And we had heard for years, and I'd seen gas stations doing it, that you could actually pass your credit card fees and not pay them and pass them on to the clients. Now we're wholesale, so we don't retail at all.
And so you don't even have retail markup. You just have wholesale markup.
I'm just on the wholesale side. We manufacture in that business. We brand it and manufacture. We're a light manufacturing company, and we wholesale it out to around 1,100 what we call dealers or affiliates in the United States alone.
Wow.
And those all
of those merchants pay you in credit cards.
Yes, all those people out there that are running Jelly Ball events, they pay us with a credit card, and we're eating 4% on every transaction.
Wow.
In the wholesale world, that's a lot of money.
Oh, sure it is.
And
there are businesses, a lot of people don't realize this, there are businesses like grocery stores, for instance, that operate on a 1 to 2% margin. They make 1 to 2 pennies on every dollar of merchandise they sell, which absolutely blows my mind to smithereens.
Yeah, it's a very that's a very tight industry. Most wholesaling is pretty tight, and we're no exception to that. And once you take care of all the tariffs and the shipping from all over the world, everything we do and bring in from everywhere to make it all happen, it's a tight business. And so 4% is material to us in that business. So we said we need to pass our fees.
Wow.
And what we noticed right away was we started making 100% of the money we were supposed to make.
Instead of 96 or 90.
Instead of 96. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was definitely life-changing. It's a pretty good sized business, and so the money was real to us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a small matter. It wasn't a huge matter, but it wasn't small at all. It changed us. It changed the way we did our business.
Wow.
And it freed up our cash flow.
Wow. So around 4%. So what business are you in before you got started in this business, Bobby?
So I met Clay through Jelly Ball I own a paintball park in California called Gladiator Paintball Park. And we implemented that system at our park. So if you came to the park and you and your son wanted to come play, let's say paintball, and you paid me $100 cash, well, I, as the merchant, would get to keep $100 cash.
Right.
And the old system, if you used your credit card to come play that same $100, I, the merchant, would only get $96 of that.
So basically you'd be helping me pay for my experience.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And when we implemented the payments model, I got to keep 100% of it.
That's so fascinating because so many financial gurus like the Warren Buffetts of the world, they say it's not how much money you make, but it's how much you keep that matters. And usually when we think about keeping money, we think about like paying less in taxes by making strategic tax moves. But I don't think the average merchant really takes into consideration how much money we actually pay in credit card fees because it's just been the price of doing business since forever and a day.
To that point, and Bobby and I've talked about this for the last year or so in building this project. As a business owner in these businesses that we have, we fight tooth and nail. Like in Jelly Ball, I fight shipping and tariffs, vendor cost, everything to try to get 1% down on my cost.
Right.
And we just give away 4%.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Like it never belonged to us in the first place.
it makes no sense. When we talked about it, it just made no sense to us. We're like, why? Because you can fight for 1% over here, but if you lose over there, you just didn't get it anyway.
Wow. Why?
Yeah, he brought it. We were back and forth talking about these ideas, and he goes, you do exactly what you say. You fight with your wholesale or your retailer to get, the supplies to you, save a percentage here and there. Freight company, you'll fight with them. And then you turn around and somebody uses a credit card and you just gave them a 4% discount. I'm like, what?
So you're telling me when I changed from using Stripe on my online business, that online we do about $1.7 to $1.8 million a year just in credit cards alone. You're telling me whatever that is, let's do some math. I want to math this thing out. So you're telling me that I'd save about, let's just say 1,700,000, okay, times 0.04. I'd save $68,000 just on online credit card processing, not including the credit card processing that we do at events. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What could you do with that?
Yeah. And I'm not just thinking about what I could do with an extra $68,000. I'm also thinking about what would I have to do, since I'm already giving it away, what do I have to do to make up that $68,000 that I just gave away?
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
100%. How many books do you have to sell?
Right, exactly. Like 68,000, if I divide that by, let's say my $30 book, I'd have to sell 2,266 books to make that money back, but I wouldn't even make it back because I'd still be paying 4% on that. It's an infinite loop of money losing if you're just paying for credit card fees. Wow. So let me ask you this, because there are a lot of merchant account providers out there who talk about a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, I've been taking merchant accounts. I've had a merchant account and been accepting credit cards since 1997. So I've been in that game for a while. And the reason I got started accepting credit cards in the first place is because I wanted to give them as many ways as possible to pay, right? Somebody said, well, I don't have any cash. All I have is a credit card. Oh, we don't take credit cards. I didn't want to do that, right? And so how do I know, what makes what you guys do different than what everybody else does?
Yeah, good question. So, as you watch this podcast, listen to the words that we choose. Listen to us speak. We say things, we don't sound like finance people. We don't sound like bankers because we're not. We're business owners. So we were fortunate enough to find our way into the financial system. And then we took a look at it and said, let's fix this. Let's fix this so that it's for the business owners, not the bank. Right? So,
and when you say the bank right now, with regard to this, we're talking about Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover, these financial institutions that charge us money to use their systems to sell stuff to our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to take the businesses that are out there that want to work with us and to put them in the fast lane. They've been stuck in the slow lane. We were stuck there. We know. Like, that's the biggest difference. Like, I feel you. I mean, I know what it feels like to have your money held up and not have your hands on your money in time, and you got to make your bills.
So when you say money held up, what does that? What do you mean?
Bank holds and merchant holds. So the merchant providers, the system's just rigged against you. And any business owner that's been out here for a while feels it. They feel it every time they go to pay somebody. They need to bank payments, and the bank is holding up transaction for bank holidays. There's 11 bank holidays a year, and there's 52 weekends a year. And a lot of those bank holidays land on weekends and up against a weekend. And so, by the time you take all the bank holidays in and all the Sundays, you don't get your money as you should. With payments, you get paid every single day, 365 days a year.
So it doesn't take 4 days after you process a credit card for your money to show up. It shows up the same day.
Yes. Batch out.
Right.
Get paid same day.
Same day.
365 days a year. No bank holidays.
What?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a banking institution talking to you. That sounds like a business owner talking to you. And to me, that's the biggest difference between us and the rest of the companies in the field.
And for a business that's doing, 20 or 30,000 a month, and they've got a payroll that's 60 or 70% of that, that's a big deal.
Absolutely. Most small business owners, and we felt it at Gladiator, like when we had payroll, it got taken out 2 days prior. If we paid on Friday, it got taken out on Wednesday. In the payments model, you can keep your money in your account, accruing interest, and it doesn't get, we can literally pay your employees. It can get taken out Thursday evening to pay them on Friday.
Wow. So yeah, it's so interesting. One of my brothers said to me a long time ago, when you have a job, nothing comes slower than payday. But when you have employees, nothing comes faster than payday.
True words are never spoken.
Right.
Yeah.
And so getting your money faster, I can see how that could impact the bottom line of a lot of people's businesses.
Going back to what you said about a lot of the businesses that are living on the edge, the reason they're on the edge is because of this.
Wow. Okay, say more.
So the reason they're living on the edge is because, let's say they run their business up on Friday and they may even take money on Saturday. They won't get that money until Monday or Tuesday at best. And if there's a bank holiday, it may be Tuesday or Wednesday. And then if they use a payroll company, like a lot of people do, the payroll companies want their money on Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon.
Like for our payroll, we send the wire on Wednesday so that they can have it to pay people on Friday.
It's like water on a hot frying pan, right? It comes in and goes out. And so, I believe that the reason these businesses feel this way and feel this, this tension in their gut is because the system has been rigged up like this. And this is the world that they live in on a week in, week out, or every 2 week basis. Every time their payroll comes up, they're like, oh man, here we go. And it just doesn't have to be this way anymore.
Wow. And so do you guys think that most business owners recognize that that's the problem, or they just feel it and they don't even realize that that's the problem?
No, because you said it earlier. You said, oh, it's just the price or the cost of doing business.
I've been in business for a long time. I'm a relatively savvy business owner. I literally, until I had this conversation with y'all, I thought it was against the law to pass on the fees for credit card processing to the customers. I thought it was illegal because I'm all about making all my money. So I didn't know it was possible. And when I asked him, are you sure? And then you told us why it's legal. So tell everybody why it's no longer against the law. Because I think if I'm operating under that premise, and I'm a business consultant and I have hundreds of clients, if I'm a business consultant and I'm operating under the premise that, okay, the reason we don't pass on the credit card fees to our customers is because it's illegal. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's thinking that. So when did it change? Why did it change? How did it change?
It really came to a head in 2010 when Congress looked at how big these financial companies were getting, Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and the banks, and they put a limit on what fees could be paid. And then the one that really basically affects us as business owners is the Durbin Amendment. And that basically says that this percentage can only be attached to fees and surcharges and stuff along those lines.
Okay.
But here's kind of a tricky way that they get around it. Look at your statement and look and see if there's a hardware fee, software fee, admin fee. They've come up with new ways to go about charging you more than the 3 or 4% that they can currently charge. And the reason the credit card companies were able to do this is because back in the early 1980s, people started using credit cards more. So they started charging more fees. Exactly.
They could make more money.
So the gas stations were getting crunched.
Right, because they operate on really thin margins.
Absolutely. Small guys, as well as Exxon, Shell, Mobil. So they said, what if we came up with a dual price model? What does that mean? Well, when you pull in to get gas, like if you had to get gas today, there's a cash price and a credit card price.
I remember when that changed.
So the customer is paying that fee if they use their credit card, right? You know, we call it a convenience fee. Well, for a business owner, that's an inconvenience fee, right? Why is it called a convenience fee? It's an inconvenience to the business owner. Pretty convenient for the customer who gets the benefit of cash back,
Right.
airline miles, hotel stays. Do you get that as a merchant? No.
But I do it all the time. I pay for as many things as I can on my American Express because I want the points.
Right. And so people at Gladiator Paintball Park, we implemented that dual price model. So $100, you give me cash, I get $100. Now, if you use a credit card at Gladiator, it's $104. So that 4%, the customer pays. Guess how many people said something?
None.
Not a one.
Right. Because they know they're the ones buying. They get the benefit. Why shouldn't they pay the fee? Wow.
And there's a sign that says, if you use a credit card, it's a dual price model.
Right.
It's less expensive if you use cash.
Right. But people don't.
No.
People don't
When's the last time you paid for gasoline with cash?
I don't remember.
Do you want to walk in
And then and then wait for them to turn on the pump, and then you got to figure out how much gas you want to put in. Like, no, I'll pay the extra. So Clay, you said something about the government started doing something, and talk to me about that.
Yeah, the Durbin Amendment, as I understand it, in my reading of it, is that it came about, the genesis of it is because the government wanted to pass credit card fees. And apparently they had passed previous legislation that said that they could not. And they because the government wanted to pass credit card fees, like if you go into a driver's license office today, they pass their fees to you.
Right.
Wasn't always that way. They got tired of paying the fees, and somewhere along the way, someone put in the bill and said, well, if it's good enough for the government, the private sector should be able to pass their fees as well. And I've been in business since I was 23 years old, and I'm slightly older now. And
Slightly?
yeah, and so yeah, but I just kept doing it the same way, and to this day, millions of business owners are still just doing it the same way.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it since 1997.
Yeah.
So you're telling me when I change from Stripe to payments that I'm going to save my $4,000 a month, or my $68,000 a year is what I would have saved over the last year.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay. So where were you guys hiding last year, man? I could have that money right now.
And you'll get it faster.
And I'll get it faster.
Stripe will hold it. I'm looking to see.
Well, I know they do. They hold it for 4 days.
You mentioned Stripe. I'm looking to see if people are going to start throwing tomatoes at us.
Okay. So we're talking about, to me, if I were watching this video right now, the question that would be in my mind is, how do I know this is real?
Well, I think it's the proof's in the pudding. The gas station's been doing it to you for years. And if it's good enough for Exxon Mobil, it's good enough for me. and also you'll see it more and more. You can go to Blake Shelton's restaurants up in Las Vegas or Nashville, Tennessee, Old Red, I think it's called. They're passing credit card fees.
Wow.
These companies and these individuals, they have more money than they know what to do with, and they're passing their credit card fees. For those of us who are living on the edge, I think it's the least we can do. I don't have any problem with it at all, and neither have my customers. And like I said, I'm wholesaling to them. No one's complained. And what I have noticed is people sending me more ACHs. Oh, well, that's fine. I don't pay that much in fees for ACHs, and it's tiny compared to credit cards.
Right.
It's fine. They wire money too. So my wire transfers, ACHs have gone up. No problem. My credit card fees have gone to zero, and now I get 100% of every dollar I'm supposed to make.
Wow.
And I get it the same day.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Wow.
Now I can run my business the way I intended it to.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, we probably do, and I haven't looked at it, but I would guess we probably do as much in credit card transactions offline as we do online, and but most of our money comes in wire transfer and ACH. Like the majority of our revenue comes in wire transfer and ACH, but like $68,000 a year, and then you add another $68,000 a year to that. Now we're at $132,000 a year. That is real significant money. We're just flushing down the fee toilet.
That's it.
Down the toilet, and then let's not forget the rule of 72.
Right, I know. Don't even talk about the time value of that much money.
Yeah. How long have you been in business? How long have you been doing this? Yeah.
Now he's torturing me.
Now you got to get mad.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Is processing credit cards with payments, is that all that you guys do? You just do credit card processing?
Any payment coming in, any payment going out, you have your own account established that earns interest, as in you, the business owner, not the banks. And
You're saying the money that's sitting there in an account to pay payroll earns interest?
in your account, not their account.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. It's earning interest.
And you said any money coming in and any money going out. Does that include payroll?
Yeah.
So what's the difference in me doing payroll with somebody like, I don't know,
ADP,
Yeah,
paychecks. Yeah.
Paychecks, Gusto, whoever. And if, like, do I save money on that or save time? You said something about I get the money the same day or the next day. So what's the deal with that?
So payroll processing is a very complex industry as well. So we can manage and handle most companies' payrolls. Some we can't. Some we don't handle some of the assets that ADP and these other carriers provide. But where we can do your payroll, we will. And we'll also, as sound business owners, we'll tell you, yeah, we can't do that. We don't handle certain HR functions. We don't handle certain things that they do. They've grown their business over decades. And so the payroll processing, again, is done.
So your payroll processing arm is more for small to medium-sized businesses?
Yeah, more for small to medium, which is really our target market anyway. We really want to work with businesses that are doing $15,000, $20,000 and up in sales and credit card processing per month. But we can work all the way up to people doing millions of dollars a month, depending on how they're set up.
Gotcha.
And how many employees they have.
Gotcha.
But they can pay vendors, you can pay contractors, you can pay employees if the numbers work out correctly. The number of employees work out correctly for us, and it provides for a very seamless transaction. It allows for proper cash conversion, the way a business should be converting their cash and holding onto their money and earning interest on their money in a way that 95% of small businesses have never had a choice or a chance to do.
So how is it? Okay, this is 2025. So how is it that they came out with this Durbin Act in 2010, and here we are 15 years later, and I would guess that the majority of merchants, the majority of business owners don't know that they don't have to pay these credit card fees. How's that possible?
You don't know what you don't know. Like you said, everybody thinks that the old archaic way of doing things have changed. Times are changing. And this is a new way to do it that helps the business owners instead of the banks and the processing companies.
I would say also they didn't exactly advertise it. Right?
Why would they? Right?
Why would they? Right.
Yeah.
And so I just think the whole process is in hindsight, it's just extremely rigged. And, step one for the bank, let's put people through a process and see if we can allow you to collect credit cards. Right. Oh, okay. And then we'll charge you fees. It's wholly unfair for a bank to charge credit card fees, to give someone a card with their name on it, send them into your business, charge you to do the job, then hold your money up, and then charge you fees on top of the fees on top of that. It doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't. So there's things have changed in the processing industry, and all the changes with companies like PayPal and Venmo has forced the banking systems to change the way they're doing business. We're just on the front end of that.
So can you work with businesses that have both online, they accept credit cards online and accept credit cards offline?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Any business that's collecting money, we can work with them.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to get started with payments, or just to discover whether they want to get started with payments or not, maybe they don't want to get started yet, but they want to know if they want to get started. Like, what do they do?
It's as simple as clicking a link, going to our website at payments.com. You can schedule a 15-minute calendar call. We do strategy calls for people all the time, and just figure it out. It's really not complicated. The process is pretty simple. The application process is not terribly painful. It's pretty easy. And we just transition people over into the new way of thinking, and so they can get control of their time. At our offices, we tell each other all the time, you cannot possibly get control of your time until you get control of your money.
Ooh, that's a bar.
And I'm telling you, that's what this company is built to do. That's what we want to do for people. And we want to because we did it for ourselves, and we realized what we had, and we're like, wow, that's powerful. It's a very powerful feeling.
And you don't have to do anything different than what you're currently doing now. We're just giving you control of it instead of the bank and the credit card processing company. You're already doing it. You already have a payroll company doing it now, right?
We already
You already have a bank processing. You already have Stripe.
We already have Stripe. Yeah.
Same scenario here, but we are giving your money faster. We're not holding your funds. It's your money. Why do you need all those people touching it?
Right. Great question. I don't know. I don't need all those people touching it. I don't want all those. Get your hands off my money.
Right?
Well, it's funny. You go to a small town or a big town, right? And you pull in your car. What's the biggest building there?
The bank.
Oh, yeah.
And banks are generally bigger than the houses.
Absolutely correct. Small town, big town, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He and I were having dinner last night, just kind of talking about we were excited we were coming here to do this interview with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we turned over and looked, and the 4 buildings that we saw were bank buildings.
Jackson's down there on Harbor Island.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit on their balcony and look back out across the convention center, you'll see 4 banks, the biggest 4 buildings in town.
Truist, PNC, South Bank, and they were the tallest buildings in Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Wow. And they made all that money off our fees. Using our money
Yes,
to make
sir,
money
they did.
while they're telling us our money's safe. Wow, so fascinating. So we'll make sure we put a link to your people, so where people can go and apply, in the description of the video. What would stop somebody? Like, if somebody's not going to do business with you, why would they not? Like, if somebody's going to say, yeah, I hear what those guys are saying, but I don't know. Like, what would that be?
So a common thing we hear, well, it's not that common, but occasionally we hear people say, I don't think my customers will pay. They won't pay the extra 4%. Simply not true. We had the same apprehension. We did. I mean, in fact, Bobby tried at his paintball field first. I said, you guinea pig. He goes, okay. He called me up in 2 months and he said, hey, Uyghur, are you still paying all your credit card fees? Yeah. Well, I don't know why you would continue doing that. I said, no one's complained? Zero. None.
Wow.
So I traded it off at a different business that I own. I did it the same way Bobby did it. No one complained. And then I went, well, we'll see if it works on the wholesale side. Again, people change their behaviors, which is fine, but no one embarked at it because everyone understands they're using their credit card. And the other thing that we do is we give people a choice, right? If they don't, they don't want to use your card, they don't have to.
Right.
So
that reminds me of, like, when I fly private, as you guys know. But when I buy my jet cards, they're for a heavy jet, it's $550,000.
Hello.
And I put that on my American Express because I get the points. And he said, now, if you want to just wire the money, you don't have to put it on your American Express. I said, no, I'll put it on my American Express. And I have to pay the fees on that.
The jet company made you pay the fees.
Right.
Yeah.
Jet companies made me pay the fee. And I literally, I've been with them for 3 years. I wondered, how can they do that? I thought that's against the law. I've literally had that thought in my mind, but I never thought to ask them. That's how programmed we are by the way the system is set up. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Bank's greed is the customer's burden.
Yeah. And it's the merchant struggle.
Wow. So let's say somebody's contemplating doing it. Well, yeah, that sounds really good, but I'm going to wait until the beginning of 2026, or I'm going to wait until my birthday, or I'm going to wait until, the Easter Bunny comes, or whatever. So if somebody's like thinking like that, why should they do it now? We could take even me, for instance. I got Stripe. Why should I do it now? Why should I change it now?
Well, the best day to plant a money tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today.
Wow. Best day to plant a money tree. Wow. Okay.
The other thing that is really important is that it jeopardizes your business. You're losing 3.5 to 4% of your revenue. It is just not a smart thing for your company.
Right.
And other companies are changing. So when you go out to eat, what's on Harry's Crab Shack downtown Tampa? They're passing 4%. So if I give everybody 4% here and then I pay 4% everywhere I go, well, that's a double.
Right.
That's a doubling of the problem.
Right.
Right.
Wow. So that makes sense.
Everyone is on this truck. It is going to leave the building. Okay. It's going to leave the warehouse.
Eventually, everybody's going to do it. So since eventually is undefeated, I might as well do it now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every day, you don't get every dollar into your business. It's putting your business in jeopardy.
So we've got, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to guess we have 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 different product funnels that we sell products with online that we use Stripe for. And if I want to change this over to payments, how challenging is that and how long does it take?
There's an underwriting process, and just like you did with whoever you're processing with now, they ask for some forms, make sure your business is who you say you are, and this is what I'm processing. And it's just an underwriting process, and it could be done in as quick as we have some that have instant, approval, and others we may ask for a few more pieces of material, and 2 days, 3 days max.
Yours is actually pretty complicated because of all the different funnels that you have and how they come through.
Sure.
The way I understand it, the average business would take a day or two, and
Mine might take a week or two.
Yeah, a week or two, but it doesn't take a week or two of your time. It just takes a week or two for us to go through the process.
Right.
Process wise for you or your accountant, hour, something like that. That takes a day.
Gotcha.
And just to make it clear for everybody, the financial realm is very regulated. We are under strict regulations. We are FDIC compliant.
Let's say that you want to share something with business owners who accept credit cards, and I didn't ask you, but they need to know. What would that be?
We were tired of being stuck. We were in the mud. We wanted to free ourselves. We took the time, looked into it, and found that there was a way out. We got tired of these companies holding our money. And when we realized we could have it now, we could make interest on it now, and we could pay payroll a day or two later and not have to, they say pay yourself first. If you're a small business, you can't pay yourself if you have to pay your employees or you have to pay bills.
I would say that I got tired of the way it made me feel. I got tired of being tired. I built these businesses, and it's almost like I traded for a job. And a lot of that went away from me when I did this. When this all happened, it changed. I mean, you could feel it almost instantly, right? It was like 2 or 3 days went by. I went, oh, And at first I just sort of noticed there was a little more money in the accounts. It's like, oh, but now it's like, oh, I could
A little more money, a little sooner. That don't hurt none.
right. And then other things would change. Someone like an employee would come in and say, hey, we really need this for the office, or we need this printer or something. And it's like, yeah, no, we can do that. Well, why is that? Well, because there's an extra $45,000 this year that I didn't have last year. And I didn't really do anything different.
Wow.
I made one small change in my business about who I process with, and presto, Americano, baby. I have flexibility and freedom I didn't have before. Now, that sounds like what I started my business for in the first place,
Wow.
instead of just being trapped and run down by it. And so it really is, it's a difference maker. I feel that in my gut every week, every month, every quarter. Things are better ever since I did this. Wow. And it became very obvious to Bobby and I that, a lot of people don't even understand this. And the people that taught it to us, didn't tell us anything correctly.
Wow.
And so it became very clear that this was a good opportunity.
So good.
What is your why? Why did you go into business?
Right.
It's like this
Legacy wealth for my family.
financial freedom.
Right.
A lot of people are talking about it in many different ways, shape, forms, and sizes. And this is just a piece of the puzzle that you can implement that will help you get there.
So good. I don't know what you guys are going to do. You guys can do whatever you want to do because you're full-grown adults and you own businesses and you have merchant processing ability and you're probably somewhat successful, if not extremely successful. I know I'm not going to let another week go by before I get started in this process and start moving our accounts over to a processor that does not charge me for doing business with my customers. Guys, I really appreciate the conversation. So enlightening. So mind-blowing, and I am looking forward to my extra $132,000 a year in the next 12 months.
I'm looking forward to the way it'll make you feel.
Yep. So good. So good. So appreciate y'all watching, and check the link in the description. And if you have a business, and investigate whether you can put your money back in your pockets instead of the pockets of the banks and the merchant account providers. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.